plants. Okay, let me get rid of this. And, hey, we got somebody here already. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Oh, don't ask what's going on with me, man. I think my phone fucking updated without my permission. Hey, Michael, Ricky, the guys are here. What's up, guys? The gang's all here. Okay. Hey, what's going down, Danny? Hey, Danny, I haven't seen you in fucking forever. Um, Linda, hello. Sharon Ann, hey, Jiggles. Michael, Ricky, Jiggles, Sharon, Greg, Danny, Linda, and Pro Dragon. I want to say hello to all of you. Hi, guys. Stephen Running, hello. So, boy, oh boy, do I have a show for you guys. A show of shows, a king of shows, and I'm not just saying that. Sometimes I like to say that, but this show is actually going to be a special one. We got two things to cover today. We're going to be talking about that Wuhan coronavirus, which is making a comeback like we knew it would. And we're going to talk about floods in the grow, which I just experienced and made me miss my 420 show because I ended up with the flood in my grow. And we're going to talk about floods and how to avoid them. They can be devastating, they can ruin your home. So I'm sure I just did some nice damage to my downstairs, but we're going to talk all about that and let my mistakes be your learning curve, okay? No, taking a bud will not stunt the growth of your plant. And one of my favorite growers in the world, Big Dave, he always used to do that. He's like, take a bud early. He's like, reward yourself, man. He's like, go ahead, sample it, see how it is, see how it's going, and don't be afraid to do that. He said, of course, it would have been bigger if you would have waited. It would have been sweeter. It would have tasted better and cured better and got you more high. He's like, but who fucking cares? It's not going to hurt anything to take a bud early. Yeah, I highly recommend that. It really motivates you. So they're saying it's coronavirus toes. I don't know what you mean, Michael. Toes. Hero, Kevin, Sharon. Okay, good, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Let's talk about this coronavirus first. Always need a treat from the plants. Um, like me plucking these tomatoes off and the pole beans. Granted, you really do need to do that on your vegetables. You need to take the vegetables off as they ripen because that encourages more vegetable growth on a plant. So if you leave the vegetables on, they'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it won't produce as many vegetables. And sometimes the veggies aren't as good when they get too big. Glenn, hey Glenn, that is a real country singer's name. Glenn Reed on the fiddle. Hey, how's it going? Stony, Ricky, there he is. Michael Wayne Helton, yes, it's on the news. Talking about getting coronavirus on your toes. I don't understand. Michael, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Are you talking about spreading it from walking around like, oh, are you talking about like being at the beach barefoot? That's what you're talking about, isn't it? They're talking about catching it from spreading it from getting it on your toes from being at the beach, right? Because everybody's talking about going to the beach. I saw it in the news. People were talking about going to the beach. And I'm like, why are people so stupid, man? That's okay. Listen, those of us that are smart will stay home. I know it's not fun, but imagine somebody that's sitting in prison for 20 years. They got it way worse than we got it. We got access, we've got food, we've got a lot more freedom than somebody that's locked up in a prison cell. And imagine this, a lot of those people that are in prison, they're catching this fucking virus in prison. So you think it's bad just sitting in prison? Try being in prison with the Wuhan coronavirus. That you can get red around spots on your toes. Oh, okay, Glenn. Okay, so you can get red, round spots on your toes, and that's a sign that you've got the Wuhan coronavirus. Fair enough. I have not heard that yet. That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that on the live stream. Been to prison before. We have it way better than them. I've been to jail many times, and let me tell you something. Jail ain't fun. Fucking jail ain't fun. I've never been to prison, but fucking jail ain't fun. You know? I can imagine fucking prison. So, I wanted to discuss this coronavirus, and I wanted to discuss you. And I wanted to talk about personal responsibility, and there's really not much to say. Okay? This is all I need to say to you guys. So just listen for a second, okay? It's not going to take long. Okay. Stay the fuck home. Everybody stay the fuck home, okay? Just stay the fuck home. I understand when you have to leave to go do something. I understand when you have to leave because you're losing your fucking mind and you think if you don't go anywhere, you're going to fucking go crazy. Okay, fine. Get in your car. Go for a fucking drive if you got to do that. I understand. But listen, man, these people going out to the beach and just disregarding and saying it's all about they're using this as a moment to secure, personal freedom and to take our freedoms away from us. That's true. Of course, politicians are opportunists. Of course, that is true. But at the same time, hey, man, they're not going to come into my home and take my gun from me. They're not going to come to my vegetable garden and cut my veggies down. And they're not going to come take my 6 cannabis plants. You see where I'm going with that? Like, I stay within their rules enough to be able to violate the important shit. Okay? When somebody tells you, look, you need to stay home, you might catch this virus, and you say, hey, I'm young, I'm strong, I can take it, I can go see a doctor, I'll probably be fine. Yeah, if you can get in to see a doctor, if there is an emergency room available, if there is a hospital available, you don't know how bad this is going to get. We're getting ready to start the second surge of this thing. And boy, oh boy, when I see the United States literally is a third. We're a third of the worldwide cases. You guys know that, okay? There's 3 million cases. We've got 1 million. That's a third. Okay. That's the first thing. The first thing is we suck. Okay? The very first thing you need to realize is Donald Trump's a liar and we suck. We're really bad at controlling the Wuhan coronavirus. We've proven it to everybody. Okay? We love our freedom. I see the people on Twitter waving their flags and I attack them for it. And I say, freedom ain't all it's cracked up to be. Because what good is freedom when you're fucking dead or you can't get a hospital bed? What good is it? So, personal responsibility is so important. And it's all you need in this day and age. You don't need the government and you don't need, Sean Hannity or Donald Trump or anybody telling you how to live your life. You already know it's right. You guys know the right thing to do and it's your choice. And you guys can make it. You can either choose to listen to me or you can choose to go out and do all the things that you normally do and keep living your lives the way you normally do. Hey, you might not catch the virus. You might not. And I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do, but I'll tell you that the smart thing is to do. The smart thing to do is to stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home. Stop being little vermin and rodents, okay? Because when you live like vermin and rodents, you spread fucking disease. And that's it. I told you it wasn't going to take a long time. That's it. Stay the fuck home. Don't listen to Donald Trump. If you want to ignore me, fine. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to go running around getting this thing. And I hope that you guys will. I hope that I'm setting a good enough example for you guys that you'll decide to stay the fuck home. It's so important. And this virus, it's making a comeback in the United States. It's really, really bad. Here, let me show you. Okay? This is the United States, as wonderful as we fucking think we are, okay? And this shows the activity every day, the daily Wuhan coronavirus numbers. Now, if you look at this, 35,000 cases, 32,000 cases a day is the, average around there, 32,000, whatever, and that's where we're at. We're at fucking 32,000 cases, and it got up to 32,000 cases, and it went down to like 27, 22, 24, 26, 28, back up to 33, 32, then down to, 24, 23. Then, we started dropping, and man, I saw a trend there, and I started getting excited. And then it started going up again. We don't know for long. Then it started going down. I started feeling good again about a week ago. I was like, man, it's starting to go down. That's a good trend. I want to share it with you. And now we hit that upward trend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days ago. And I told you guys 6 days ago, I said, this is not good. The trend is going upwards, and goddamn, it's surging. So listen, all of you fucking freedom criers out there, all of you flag waving morons, just stop. Okay? Nobody fucking cares about your fucking flag. Nobody cares about your fucking freedom right now. What we fucking care about is people coming on, paying attention, and doing the right thing. All right? And if you're here to subvert, and if you're here to hurt people, you're just going to get blocked from my live stream. Okay? I don't want to hear your bullshit. All right? So that's it. Now we're going to talk about flooding the grow. Whoa, where did this come from? Huh. Look at that. Little cannabis leaf. Must have been stuck in my hair. I'll feed it to my dog. He loves eating these. Rogan, you want a cannabis leaf? He fucking loves those goddamn things. He's a vegetarian sometimes. I hope that makes sense for all of you. Now, hopefully, Daniel, hopefully. Now, understand this. This thing might not ever go away. It might be like the flu. Because, hey, think about that. We have the flu. The flu is a coronavirus. The flu comes around every fucking year. We've never gotten rid of it completely, have we? Okay, Google. Why haven't we eliminated the flu?
I found this on the web.
Oh no, it might not be a coronavirus. It's an RNA virus. I don't know. It might be different than a coronavirus. I'm not sure, but it is the flu's an RNA virus. They answer the question. Let me see the exact question that I asked. The answer is multifaceted. Yeah, I don't have time for a multifaceted answer. Just give me the goddamn straight fucking answer. Fuck you. How about that? So, if we haven't eliminated the flu, and the flu and the Wuhan coronavirus are transmitted very similarly from person to person, and the flu came, and it's always here, well, how the fuck are we going to get rid of the Wuhan coronavirus? We've got flu vaccines every year, but they change. The flu changes every year, doesn't it? What if the Wuhan coronavirus decides to start mutating every year, like Eric Jones is talking about? What if the Wuhan coronavirus is like, yeah, I don't like that vaccine. I'm going to change a little bit. So when someone makes a comment like, 2020 is the year of the Wuhan, I don't fucking buy it. Because guess what's right around the corner? 2021. And when I look at that chart right there, I don't see it fucking slowing down in the United States. Oh, I see the rest of the world who's more intelligent than us. I see it slowing down all around the rest of the world. But not in the United States. No, because we love our freedom, man. And you take our freedom away, we'll show you. We'll go out of our way to show you how free we are. And that's the attitude that's going to cost. I tell you what, the rest of the world doesn't need to start a war with the United States. All they have to do right now is just sit back and watch us all die. And that's what's happening. You know, we're our own worst enemy. And if this was a war, we're losing Donald Trump. And if this was a world war, we're losing Donald Trump. We're not the greatest nation in the world. We're losing the battle. And we've got a liar at the helm. He's not helping things. Don't want to spend too much time on that. But you guys understand it's important that you stay home, and it's important that you take this thing seriously. Now, I do want to talk about flooding in the gross, so let's switch gears here. Let me smoke some of this cannabis here, and we'll talk about this, okay? And oh my goodness, Ron Placone was calling it cannabis today. I was so fucking excited. Thank you, Ron Placone. Shout out Ron Placone. Called it cannabis on a live stream. Thank you. And we're going to talk about that live stream as well, because the people he was interviewing said something. It was a little nasty towards people like me that use cannabis on the internet live on our live shows. It was a little bit fucking nasty. And we're going to talk about that too. But it wasn't Ron that said it. It was his guest. Cheers, guys. But I love that they're calling it cannabis. I love them for that. So I can't be too rough on them. I put a comment up for Ron to read. I don't know if he's going to read it or not, but it said, well, let me just, I'll play the video for you guys. It's only 2 minutes in, okay? Where the guy says what he says. I want you guys to thank you, Nick Brown. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Hey, Jeffrey, stay smoking in Cali. Hell yeah, I agree. You said I appreciate it. I hope this goes viral. People need to know it's unpredictable. Only way to win is do what's right for humanity. Thank you. Connie Morrison. Why is that name so familiar to me? Connie. Was that you? Connie, was that you this morning I was having a problem with? Are we friends? Are we good? Connie, was that you? Are we good? We're going to bury the hatchet? We're good? Capitalism seems very fragile to me. Stay smoking in Cali. Hey, yeah. All right. So, let me get you this this video from Ron Placone. I think we will find it on his YouTube channel. Okay, Ron Placone, R-O-N-P-L-A-C-O-N-E, Ron Placone. Okay, can cannabis help dementia? New podcast says yes. He's got 599 views on his podcast. Good for him. It just went up. And,
Hey, I just read an unbelievable article in the Epic Times. Take a look.
This guy's such a fucking
It's an
idiot.
investigation into the mysterious origin.
Fuck the Epic Times, whatever. Okay, add source, screen capture.
So guys, I have a guest today.
Fucking
And I'm
white
excited
ass
to bring
screen.
them
I
on the
can't
stream.
see it with
So,
the stupid fucking white
This
screen.
is Dave and Shayla. They host
God
the
damn
show Reefer Revolutionaries, which is
Okay.
exactly what it sounds like.
Okay, no, Ron, let's stop right there. Reefer is racist, okay? Reefer is negative. Reefer is not a positive term when you're talking about cannabis, okay? Reefer is derogatory, okay? So the fact that these people named their show with the term reefer proves that they really don't understand it. They don't know the history of the word, and they're using it like it's, you know, like it's okay. It's not okay. The term reefer is not okay, guys. You know, you might as well call it marijuana, pot, weed, and dope too. Hey, Chuckles, what's up, son? Okay, so let's keep going. I love this guy, Ron Placone, though. If you guys don't know who Ron Placone is, you really need to be watching him on YouTube. He calls it cannabis.
Like it's a show about domestic beer, and they're here today. Dave and Shayla, how are you?
Hey Ron,
Hi Ron, hi everybody.
we are coming to you from our cabin sequestered in Mount Washington,
Oh, good.
coming
So-
out of Digital Cave.
So, you know,
I like that people wear their masks when they start a live stream. They don't need to keep them on. Just wear them at the beginning, and people will see that people are wearing them and understand that it's important that you guys do that shit. I love that these two people are wearing fucking masks at the beginning of this broadcast. I love that. I saw Danger Man do it. I did it. More people should do that shit. Nicole Lindsay comes in and says, who's this burnout guy that so many people watch every day? I'm not a burnout. Trust me. Nicole, I know nothing about you, but I'm just going to make an assumption here that my life, the way I live my life and what I have going on in my life, I'm way more successful and happy than you. You know, I would never go on somebody else's show and call them a burnout. I just wouldn't do it. So that's the difference right there between me and you, Nicole. But let me tell you, they watch because I'm educational, I'm entertaining, funny. I can do cute things. I got a cute little puppy here that everybody loves. And I call people like you out on their bullshit when you're trolling. People like that too. So I hope that answers your question. Oh, and who am I? I'm Trendy Nay. That's what you want to know. Who I was? Trendy Nay. That's the answer to your question. Trendy Nay. You can just call me Nay though, N-A-Y. I like him because of you, my friend. Stony will let him know. Everyone that watches Ron Placone should tweet him and say, Ron, I want you to know I watch your show because I found out about you from Trendy Nay at Trendy As Dabbers. Tweet him that, and I will appreciate it. And I'll appreciate you. Thank you. Richie Taryn, Ricky Crasco, Dorinda, Reefer sounds nasty. They used to say Reefer Madness. Right? Greg, he's not a burnout. Nay's cool as shit. Greg, thank you, Greg. Cheers. Replying to Ricky. Ricky Crasco, yes, sir, stuck on a 30-year fixed pro. Tasha, thanks for making my Sunday great. Aw, Tasha, you're welcome. That's very nice of you to say. Best live. You know, when someone comes in and says something negative, I can almost always count on somebody to stand up and say something positive to me. Can we make that a habit, please? What Tasha Valen just did, I'm going to get high for you, Tasha. I want all of you to start doing that, okay? When someone says something bad, you know, I used to tell you to jump their shit and fucking attack them, and I'm not going to say that anymore. This is what I'm going to tell you. Instead, what I want you to do is say something nice to me. And maybe I made your day better. Maybe I made you smile. Maybe you're enjoying the show. Maybe you're glad that I'm live. Maybe, you know, Rogan is making you smile. Whatever it is that you can think of. Wash away the negativity with all of those positive posts, okay? When it happens, I don't want you to do it the whole goddamn live stream. I'll never fucking be able to read a goddamn thing you want me to see. But when it happens, you attack that way. You attack with positivity. Will you do that for me? I would greatly appreciate that. All right, Tasha, this is for you, honey. Thank you so much for saying the kind words. And at such a good time, too, when someone's talking shit. Thank you so much. Nick Brown, not necessary, but thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, Richie. Cheers, Richie. And training has helped me through very hard times. Nick Brown, thank you, Nick. I just tweeted you and Ron. I watch him because of you. Stony, hell yeah. Kiro, working hard all day. Make my day every day. Aww. Kiro 408. I'm going to turn off the goddamn AC just so I can blow some good smoke rings here. Lori, Nate, how the hell are you? I'm great, Lori. How are you? Connie, yes. Kiro, keep it up. I'm gonna, guys. This is fantastic. That is really good. All right. Good, Greg. I'm glad you enjoy the show. All right. Let's do a bong rip, and then I want you guys to hear what he says about people like me, okay? I want you to hear what he says about people like me. It's very quick. It's very subtle, but the words are said. Now I'm going to do this bong hit while he says it. Cheers. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabisisms for all, including these two people that don't seem to like what I got going on so much. But I support them. Cheers.
Of course, you guys cover domestic beer. That's what I told everybody. That's what you guys. No, of course you talk about cannabis issues, and I wanted to have you guys on yesterday because it was 420, and that's when I reached out. But you guys were busy, and so we're having you today instead. But so first of all, let's start at the top. How's everything going for you guys? How is your quarantine treating you?
Well, there's been actually it's been a pretty busy quarantine. Chella is helping take care of someone who needs a lot of help. She is someone who has dementia, who has Alzheimer's, who is living alone. Was just about to go into a care facility on March 20th. And it's still waiting for her. They're waiting. They have her room ready to go, residential care, but everything happened. So we're trying to, Chella is mostly trying to make sure she is, taking her needs. So that's been challenging.
But it's been very productive also because we, inspired by my mom's journey, started doing some interviews with doctors and nurses and administrators who work with people living with dementia and use cannabis therapeutics with them. So we have been putting together a new podcast called Cannabis Helps Dementia.
Oh, wow. So
Love it. Cannabis Helps Dementia, new podcast. Check these two out, everybody. It's called Cannabis
you guys have like a
Helps Dementia, and all of you guys should check out their show. Okay. Now listen to what this man says.
brand new project right now.
Yeah.
We do. Ironically,
Oh.
speaking about internet starting podcasts, because we're all YouTubers now. Reefer Revolution Live was our Sunday show.
Yeah.
It's basically on hiatus. It's more of a lighthearted news show, and quite frankly, cannabis news is sort of on the back burner. In a lot of this, not to make a pun, of course, we love puns.
Except that cannabis is essential.
Except that cannabis is essential in many states, including here in California.
Okay, guys, get ready. Here it is. This is what I want you to listen to what this man says about people like me that use cannabis on the internet.
The sales are adding to that. People were worried it was going to be shut down, and then it wasn't shut down here in California. So it is still in the mix as far as a medicinal aid. People who are using cannabis medicine, like patients living with dementia at a facility in Northern California, where we interviewed some people for this.
See, it's okay for people to use cannabis for dementia, right? Get that part? That's okay. Off camera, behind closed doors, that's fine with these two. That's okay. Now listen to this.
What we were trying to do is put together a documentary about this subject. And you know how long those projects can be. And this is really important information. So we're using this time at home to get our podcast launched, to refocus our efforts towards educating people. Cannabis education was always the goal with Reefer Revolution, despite its lighthearted sort of triangulation with the get high on camera crowd.
Cannabis education has always been a big deal for Trendy As Dabbers as well. That's how I got my start. But listen to him say this again, because listen to what he says just after this.
To get our podcast launched, to refocus our efforts towards educating people. Cannabis education was always the goal with Reefer Revolution, despite its lighthearted sort of triangulation with the get high on camera crowd. But we're trying to really educate people that.
See, the get high on cannabis crowd, but we're trying to educate people. You know, we triangulate with those people, but we're trying to educate people. There's the people who just get high on the internet, you know, like me. And then there's these people. They don't get high on the internet, but they want to educate you. But they don't want you to see the cannabis being used because they think it looks dirty. That's the get high on the internet crowd. And I want you to listen to the way he stigmatizes people just like me and so many others like Remo. Listen.
Our efforts towards educating people. Cannabis education was always the goal with Reefer Revolution, despite its lighthearted sort of triangulation with the get high on camera crowd. But we're trying to really educate people that this is really cannabis medicine. It was always our theme of the show, taking our viewers along our journey with Chella's mom and finding that this was only medicine that did anything that alleviated the symptoms of dementia. And even in this pandemic, you know, cannabis may not cure coronavirus, but it certainly helps people living with anxiety, with boredom.
Yeah, and allow me to go ahead and demonstrate the use of cannabis, I'm sorry, I can't even say cannabis for you. Allow me to demonstrate it. Since you guys don't want to do it, hey, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to show people while they watch your show how cannabis can be used. There's many ways to use it. You can rub it on your skin. You can inhale it. You can eat the buds. You can sprinkle buds on a salad and have it like oregano. You could smoke a bong rip. It's a fantastic way. I think that's what we're going to do. You can concentrate it into an oil form and do a dab. And these are all different ways, and there's so many other ways that you can concentrate or smoke cannabis. You can roll it up. You can smoke it. You can vaporize it. You can throw it up in the air and celebrate it, you know. But don't shun people like me, number one. Number two, don't stigmatize people like me because we're not afraid to show people what we're passionate about. Now, you guys, look, I'm Ron Placonin, everybody. You guys obviously love cannabis just as much as me. But don't make the mistake of thinking that you're somehow bad people because you allow people to see you using it on the internet. You need to get over that. Now, you know, maybe they both saw me getting high on the internet one day, and I was screaming and ranting and raving, and they both thought to themselves, see, that's why people shouldn't use cannabis and go on the internet, because they make cannabis look bad. But unfortunately, for most of the people that watch my show, it really makes cannabis look good, because what cannabis does for me is it allows me to open up and say the things that I might not normally say, do things that I might not normally do, and we all have a good time because of it. If you allow yourself to have a good time, I mean, you can take offense to the things I say too, and they might take offense to the things that they see people like me doing. Now, let me tell you something. I am the far extreme of cannabis users on the internet. I've seen plenty of people that get high on the internet, and they just kind of sit there and get high, and they show their glass, and they're fucking boring. You know, they don't really do a lot. It's the people that are awake, that are alert, and that are screaming and, you know, getting your attention that will keep you watching. And, you know, we'll see how entertaining they are, because this is as far into the video as I watched. This is where I stopped watching the video. And the reason why is he made the comment that there's the online get high on the internet crowd, and then there's us, the educators. You know, we want to educate. And I took offense to it, and I still support them, but I'm going to smoke cannabis while they talk about it, and I'm going to let my fucking psychotic cat back in the house here, if you'll just give me a moment. Yeah, I have to let my psychotic kitty cat in. Hey, all right, lizard fucking cat. He caught this giant fucking bluebelly and brought it inside the house this morning. Fucking let me make sure he's got food. Do you have food? What do you got? Oh, you're good. Look at you. What about me? I think I'm gonna grab me an OJ. I'm gonna grab me an OJ. What? Maybe 2 OJs. Son of a bitch. Do my Michael Jackson walk. It's my Michael Jackson. Shaking my fucking orange juice. You guys like that? You guys walking along with me there for a second? Well, you can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Thank you, Nick Brown. That's so nice of you to say such nice things. Thank you. Jeffrey Barkley, thank you. And I dance. And I dance. Look, let me move this out of your chat. Out of your chat. You guys are saying such wonderful, beautiful things. Look at this. Look at what everybody's saying. This is just, you guys are, it helps me to explore my thoughts, and imagination helps. So I use it for back problems. My wife uses it for neck problems. Many positive uses and no law regarding cannabis. There's too cool to smoke on camera. Cat on window. Yeah, fuck that guy. Even if you use cannabis for recreational, not fuck that guy. Listen, they're calling it cannabis. They're calling it cannabis. All 3 of them are calling it cannabis. It's okay. It's okay that he puts me down. I don't care. I get trolled all the fucking time. He wanted to fucking troll me, and he did. He trolled me. the online, you know, using on camera cannabis community. We want to educate. But let's go on and let's demonstrate the use of cannabis while we listen to them talk about cannabis and use the word cannabis, which is, it's huge, guys. It's fucking huge. You have to support these people, and that's why they're here. Okay? Now, what I was telling you before, my cat jumped on the window, was I haven't watched this. This is as far as I watched in. I wanted to watch it with you. So let's go ahead. We're going to smoke, and we're going to watch this Ron Placone video. And all of you need to subscribe to Ron Placone, and all of you should consider checking out their show now, their podcast. Even though it's called Reefer something. I fucking hate the name. I still support them. And maybe they'd consider changing the name. Right now, we explain to them where the origins of the term reefer comes from and why they can't figure out something with the term cannabis. You know? Would be fantastic.
And in many ways, this plant is beneficial in this time. And you can find different ways to ingest it other than smoking it. You can vaporize it.
I just said that. Oh my God, I just said all that.
Of course, there are edibles, tinctures, and there
I
are
just
many
said all
other
that.
ways to get medicine, which is how primarily people with dementia
How funny is that?
consume it. Is with
Because I haven't heard,
So-
watched this
Well,
far yet.
I'm not gonna lie, it's been very helpful to me during these
I'll
times. It's
Us as well. Yeah.
so well, unpack it for me. What is how does it help dementia? Like, how can cannabis help dementia?
He's high
What are
right
some
now.
of the elements
Ron's
going on?
high right now.
Mhm.
So cannabis
They-
nourishes the endocannabinoid system.
Listen,
And we have this endocannabinoid.
listen. I think the three of them got high before the show started. Ron's high as fuck. And I don't know if I've ever seen him high before, but maybe he gets high on every Jimmy Dore show. I don't know. Maybe he's, every time I see him, he's high. I don't know.
Cannabinoid system in our body that balances every other system in the body. The endocannabinoid system
Thank you,
really
Edward
helps
Haynes.
with how we process anxiety.
Cheers. No
people
law
living
regarding
with
cannabis.
dementia,
Cheers, guys.
a lot of them
Cannabis
have
isn't business for all.
tremendous anxiety.
No law regarding
CBD,
cannabis.
THC, linalool, other compounds within the cannabis plant all help to address anxiety. The problem with dementia is, well, aside from the obvious problem,
Yeah.
but the biggest problem is there's no treatment. There's no effective treatment for the behavioral symptoms in any dementias, and there's over 100 types of dementia, and Alzheimer's is just the number one most diagnosed. So cannabis helps ease agitation, aggression, anxiety. It helps ease
Sleeplessness.
depression. It helps with insomnia. Helps with appetite. It also helps clear away the plaques and tangles that you find in Alzheimer's better than anything else available on the market.
Yeah.
And spreading this information to the whole world is really important to us since we discovered.
Listen. She's wrong about anger. It can relax you and it can calm you down, but your anger will still be there. So you might be able to express it better with cannabis. But for her to say that I think her words were it relieves anger. Let me hear her words again.
Diagnosed. So cannabis helps ease agitation, aggression, anxiety. It helps ease
Sleeplessness.
depression. It helps with insomnia. Helps with appetite. It also helps clear away the plaques and tangles that you find in Alzheimer's better than
Oh, she said
anything
aggression.
else
Okay,
available
my
on the
bad.
market.
She didn't say
Yeah.
anger.
And spreading this information to the whole world
She's
is
right.
really
It does.
important to us since we discovered that the United States Department of Health holds a patent on cannabinoids specifically for Alzheimer's disease, Huntington's, and AIDS-related dementia. So the United States holds a patent since 1998. 33 state departments of health have either Alzheimer's
Focuses
disease or
focuses
other
your anger.
neurodegenerative diseases
Allows you to
on
think outside the
their
box and
Alzheimer's
see what's
patients'
real,
lists.
what should really be
So-
making you mad.
Why don't more
You know?
doctors know about it? Because
It opens
cannabis
your
is
eyes.
prohibited, and it's on the Schedule 1.
And they don't study the endocannabinoid system because of the Schedule 1. So Reefer Revolution was about liberty, freedom, about getting it off the schedule. Bernie was, of course, had the best plan, which Biden doesn't seem to be taking up anyway, which is unfortunate. So that hope, so with all of this happening, we're trying to focus on the positive and how we can help people. And this is, since cannabis is essential even in this pandemic, there's no reason why people in 33 states, and especially California, who are needing some relief from anxiety and other symptoms that, hey, we're all turning into some, going a little bit crazy right now. We, of course, and we know you are advocates of the fine plant and all of its qualities. So we're
I love the way they
we're ready to
speak.
launch this soon as possible. This is now just sort of refocusing our efforts. So we're trying to not go stir crazy and get the podcast out there. So we're using, of course, Anchor FM, which is very helpful with that.
Oh.
And there are a lot of people doing that. Like you say, we need the broadband.
Are they on YouTube?
And then, of course, we're our sort of where we work in Hollywood.
I hope they're not
is
charging.
effectively shut down.
I hope it
for
doesn't
the-
cost
for
money.
The rest of time.
I hope it's a
So
free broadcast.
And there are millions of people in Southern California that are going, what the hell am I going to be doing?
I get
for the
angry
next
if I don't
2
have it.
years when you can't get insurance to make a movie or a TV show? What if somebody gets sick? Does that mean the whole production gets shut down? And some of the ideas they're coming up
Life-ending
with
dementia,
is just,
UTIs.
it's nuts. And so we're going to
Hey,
become
Samantha.
microgreen and mushroom farmers and sell them at the farmers market, which eventually will be essential. And we're going to get out this podcast to educate people that plant medicine is really where it's at, and that people still have Alzheimer's and dementia despite this coronavirus, and we need to give them some relief.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Let's back up a little bit. Something that you just said, Chella. What do you think that the U.S. is doing with this patent that they have? I mean, is it just kind of sitting and collecting dust, or?
Yep, it is. It's just
Okay.
sitting and collecting dust. It may have even expired, but the fact is that they know that it helps
patent expired?
Alzheimer's disease. and
Right.
dementia, and there's literally nothing else to help people living with dementia, and especially right now when everybody's home with their loved ones, they need something. They need something. I just went through a thing with our friend who had a UTI on top of having Alzheimer's disease and something wrong with her hip. So she had multiple things going on, and it was unsustainable. She was hysterical constantly. I thought she had to go to a psychiatric hospital, to be honest. And even the cannabis didn't help. It wasn't enough. So we had to make a bunch of changes last week. But people living at home with their loved ones, living with dementia, you need this medicine, and there's different ratios that start with CBD, start low, go slow, but start.
Because we're not doctors.
Yeah, we're not
Our
doctors.
experts, but but on the podcast we've interviewed for our documentary. We've already interviewed a number of doctors and people in the dementia field, dementia care field, and so we're incorporating those interviews in our initial episodes of the podcast. But then we have now a whole access. Chella is on the outreach committee for the Society of Cannabis Clinicians, where you can actually find real doctors in your area, no matter what state you live in, and no matter what legality the cannabis is in. You can go to scc.org and find a real doctor who does practice with cannabis medicine in your area. And so we are, essentially trying to take all of that information that eventually will go into a documentary, but move that in and then talk to real doctors that are currently doing it. They're very excited about our podcast and participating more in expanding the knowledge. So we'll be doing more live podcast interviews in future episodes. But we have all this really good information that we're ready to launch. And essentially, we're just waiting for Apple to give us the approval, and then we'll be launching a few episodes. We're up on Spotify right now. And some of the other standard, sort of smaller podcasts.
Are you not on
platforms.
YouTube?
But we're waiting for Apple to give us the go, and then we'll be able to launch 3 episodes at once and sort of promote it that way. So this is just very fortuitous that we were able to get you. Got us out of our digital cave. We're really sort of been, with Carolyn and the podcast. I've been having some back issues, and so we've been sort of taking a hiatus from the show. And
Yeah, I don't like
really
it if they're
focusing
charging
inward,
people for
trying to
information.
focus, see what-
I don't know though.
going
I don't
on.
know you.
And
Yeah.
we're quite frankly quite going to move up to Sacramento maybe in this because Hollywood is dead for 2
Come
years
on up.
maybe. So we might as well do
Come
some
on up.
lobbying, maybe get our representatives.
I'll fucking hang out with them when
uh,
this fucking
more
Wuhan
focus on
coronavirus shit goes
allowing
away.
Cannabis in residential care
I'll have them
facilities.
come over.
I know they're going through quite a struggle now anyway.
Some of the folks in the chat are saying that our government prohibits studies on cannabis. It's true
It's true.
because cannabis is on the Schedule 1, but
Right.
there are still,
Plenty.
a few studies that show how cannabis helps dementia. This is my notebook about how these are just the studies that show how cannabis helps. So
Well, what kind
Yeah.
of what kind of leeway do you know? I mean, you're mentioning doctors who are kind of taking the reins on this. What kind of leeway do they have? You know, and particularly in states where cannabis is legal, are they still able to kind of break a lot of ground on this?
they could if they were not self-censoring.
They
Okay.
are. Each one is taking their license in their hands. Every one of them.
You as the patient or advocate has to bring in the information to the doctors, show them. You got to help them get out of their prohibitionist mindset because most doctors went to school under prohibition. So you got to help bridge them from their prohibitionist mindset to where we are today, and they need help with that. So you can bring in studies, you can advocate, you can say that this is what you want, you can say, hey, let's start with CBD, hey, what's the harm? I mean, what we all know for sure is that in the 70 years of prohibition that they've been trying to find the harms, they've found none. So you can always start with the baseline question, doctor, what's the harm?
Sure. But in particular, I guess the doctors I was asking about are the ones that you guys have talked to, the ones that
Oh,
are
yeah.
that are interested in this work already. Like, what kind of leeway do they have? I mean, can they at the very least be publishing in the medical journals? Can they have any types of trials? Like how much are they tethered or not tethered?
So trials are limited because it's on the Schedule 1 of drugs and you need ridiculous types of permitting for that. Anecdotal stories are being reported in journals. But those are not valued by doctors on the whole. They want double-blind placebo studies. And there happens to be one coming up this year at King's College London.
Hey, bottom of the
It's doing
hour.
a trial
Cheers,
of
guys.
Sativex, which is a 1-to-1 oral mucosal spray made by GW Pharma of CBD to THC, so 1-to-1. If you have any money laying around, you may want to invest in GW Pharma.
The Chella keeps telling me it's dropping. We should buy now.
We should buy.
But GW Pharmaceuticals, of course, made Epidiolex, which is the CBD drug that has been the only plant-derived cannabis medicine that's been approved by the FDA. So it's really the Schedule 1. There's one Dr.
It's
Seuss.
$32,000 a year, and that's total fucking horseshit trash.
And it's actually
Just to be
been,
clear.
and just in the last week, it's been talking of Cannabis News, it has been descheduled. They have
Epidiolex.
Epidiolex was on Schedule 5 when they approved it. It's now been descheduled. So that particular cannabis drug is no longer on the schedule. Any doctor can prescribe it. You can't buy it over the counter, but any doctor can prescribe it for anything now.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So that's really the only
Cheers.
cannabis
No law
drug
regarding
that's been
cannabis, guys.
approved and
Cannabis
used
isn't
in
just
the
for all.
United States. The research that's done, you have
I'll
to get
smoke
the
while they
DEA
explain it,
third
since
week
they don't
from
want to
the
smoke on
Mississippi.
camera.
The DEA this month has a slow rolling approval of other farms. They're still dragging their feet and continue to. So the schedule is really what's the impediment is. And if Donald Trump takes it off the schedule anytime soon, or does anything with cannabis, allowing anything happen, which sort of was on the realm of possibility before all of this, who knows? But we know Lev was talking to him about it. So you know how his brain works. We don't know how his brain works. But you know, the Democrats are already losing in so many ways, and so many progressive issues are being outlefted by Donald Trump. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up with Medicare for all, UBI, and descheduled cannabis before the end of all.
It could happen.
From Donald Trump.
You know, I mean, quite frankly, everybody's talking. Well, they need $2,000 a month. How much should we give them a month? I'm like, well, and how are we going to go back to work? How are they going to put us back to work when you can get sick again? And your antibodies don't work, which is a lot of what's being shown. So much is unknown about this that it's literally the future is unknown.
That's kind of in many ways the most horrifying aspect. There are still so many things that we don't know. There are still so many unknowns, and we're We're not really up to date on the
Blake.
testing or anywhere close to it. That's an understatement for where we're at. So
Call me
so
Nay,
it's like,
Blake.
yeah, there's just so many unknowns. You really think Hollywood's going to be closed for 2 years?
Yeah. I want to
Jeez.
know. So when this all first started, I mean, we work so close. We work this close to each other.
This is how you
Like,
work in-
literally.
this is how you work in Hollywood.
This is how you talk. I mean, this is just doing props together, doing set dressing, doing lighting. You're standing this close to each other, and the articles that they're talking about, what they're talking about to open this up.
God, stop playing with the fucking mic, man. This guy's an idiot when it comes to the mic. I'm sorry. But Jesus fucking Christ, man. Stop playing with the mic, bro.
We will have to all sign away our lives, literally, if we get COVID-19 on set. It's not their fault.
We kind of do that anyway.
Blake, I told you to call me
So,
Nay. Bye.
The
You
third
lose.
wrong that really I find irritating is that every morning before we go into work, we're going to have to be tested
A rapid test of some kind.
every morning. So it's going to add.
And just to give a little background, which I should have done in the first place, but you guys work in costuming and makeup, right?
I do set dressing and
Set
props.
dressing. Okay.
And sometimes I'm in front of the camera, but I'm also was an assistant director for a number of years. But yeah,
Edward,
you
tweet
may
that
remember
shit.
me from the
At
first
Trendy
episode
as
of the last
Dabbers.
season of the series Lost. But that would be about it.
Yeah, so we used to work in film and television, and I've always wanted to be giving this sort of education to people and families about how cannabis helps dementia, and we figured now is the time.
Yeah, if you're going to do, I mean, it seems like, do we just sit around and wait and figure out this, or do we go into some essential work like cannabis is essential? We've been looking for a reason to get into the space anyway, and so we're looking for opportunities there. In education, of course. And
Oh,
then,
God, they fucking, he
quite
just
frankly,
slipped up there, didn't
far-
he? He just fucking slipped up there, didn't he? We're looking for opportunities there in education. No, you're looking for opportunities in cannabis like everybody else is. And you don't want to sound like the exact person that I told all of my viewers to watch out for. And these, if you know, we're not looking for opportunities. Look, if you guys are looking for a job, I understand. That's fine. You're looking to feed yourself. I understand. That's great. But if you're looking for opportunities in cannabis, which is what he just said, you're basically the exact scum that every other corporation is that's out there today in every other business. You know, they're fucking opportunists. And he just kind of outed himself when he said that. I want to go back and hear him say it again. And watch all their reactions when he says it.
Do we go into some essential work like cannabis is essential? We've been looking for a reason to get into the space anyway, and so we're looking for opportunities there in education, of course, and then quite frankly, farming. We're probably and because look at what happened. Like you're saying with that story you had about the agriculture, that I was so pissed off about that. I was talking about it all week. That
So
they're
did you-
destroying all of that food? It's all going to have to come down to local. We're going to have down to local sources. So, food is essential. Cannabis is essential. Hollywood, not so essential right now. As we find
Showing
all
my
of these
belly
nutritious
on my
food like-
live stream is essential.
Sorry. Anyway, the recent story coming up about how she's
Essential.
We're in her $28 million house doing so poorly.
Essential.
Now
Hiring
non-union, hiring non-union crews to come in and shoot her YouTube show.
No good.
We're
It
all
is,
used to that.
Yeah, right. Well, no, it is interesting that all the stories from earlier today kind of tie into like everything we've talked about. So,
There you go.
yeah. So, are you with me that you think farmers markets should be on the list of essential services?
Yeah, absolutely.
I quite frankly
Okay.
didn't realize.
No, I don't have fans. And what Ron just said about farmers markets being essential services, I have no problem with that as long as it's run like the supermarkets are, where people are kept away from each other, and they all exercise care when they're doing their job. You got to give people food, and I understand. Nothing wrong with that. Spread apart, have people come up far away from each other one at a time, stay apart from each other, social distancing, and be safe.
They weren't. We have been so isolated. It's really crazy. trying to isolate ourselves. But yeah, that's ridiculous. I thought all food things were considered essential. People were being respective of, as far as what I did see in some of the news. I don't understand why that isn't happening, considering that food is just sitting there fallow and is not getting to anyone. Doesn't
Yeah, I
make
mean that's the problem. Well, I mean, I get the concerns that it's like, well, a grocery store you can get everything, a farmer's market's more specialized, but it's like, yeah, but you can also get the best quality crops and stuff like that. So I think it should be essential services. I think it's important. And yeah, I mean,
Hey, James.
it having my farmer's market allowed me to make less trips to the grocery store because I would get a lot of stuff from the farmer's market. So
Right, that's right. And
So,
we're actually it's like going to the grocery store. Somebody I'd seen it once on Twitter somewhere said it's like going out for supplies in The Walking Dead. You basically, you take whatever's there. Chella came home. His Sprouts line was just ridiculous. It's always 3 hours long. You have to
Yeah.
go in the morning. It's
So
the
I got Thai
commitment.
food instead.
You have to load up. So Chella got Thai food. The restaurant was open, and CVS. So she got, look, I got smokehouse almonds and
Ice cream.
and ice cream from CVS. It's like a zombie apocalypse supply run.
Right. Right.
I know I was supposed to get
Right.
all of our groceries, but I just came back with nuts and noodles. You'll have to
Exactly.
deal.
Exactly. Enjoy the soup.
Make it work.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So where can people go to find this new podcast? Give everybody all the information they have. I
Yeah.
know we're still waiting on
Yeah.
the iTunes.
We're
but where
working on the iTunes. CannabisHelpsDementia.com, and that'll take you to
Perfect.
wherever the most current and recent. Eventually, there'll be a website up there with all the bells and whistles. But right now, it's going to take you to our public Anchor site. Then you can go on to Spotify, and when Apple goes up, it'll be up in there. And then you can even support the podcast there on Anchor, which is kind of cool. I don't mean to promote it so much, but literally it was kind of interesting that we were like, we got to get our podcast off, and all of a sudden it's like, oh look, you can just do this, and we're like, okay, great, that's awesome. And because YouTube, of course, and all of the socials, and that maybe who knows what's going on with Apple, but you literally YouTube. We never could monetize our YouTube show. Our channel was always, we covered some news, so there were copyright issues, of course, but we scrubbed all that. But still, they're like, oh, the content is not advertiser friendly because it talks about cannabis in any way, shape, or form. Well, we just got our monetization literally right as soon as the
Oh.
pandemic started.
Nice.
We're like, oh shit, we should go live. Kind of don't feel like it.
That's not
Um,
gonna
But
last.
because our videos, they are immediately demonetized.
Right.
Immediately
Exactly.
demonetized because of the content.
Did I
Because
say
it
it?
talks about cannabis. They're like, oh, no, not advertiser friendly. So the only way we can get any money is to go live. We think maybe we can start getting some super chats. But it's like it's always Facebook doesn't allow you to promote. None of the socials let you promote any type of cannabis topic because people sell weed through Instagram and unfortunately, I think anything with a picture of cannabis or talks about it, you're selling weed. So even education is really challenging to promote. So we're just trying to spread the word. So we're now on Spotify. We're going to be up on Apple. If you go to CannabisHelpsDementia.com, that'll always be the most current stuff of what's going on.
That's awesome. Well, congrats to both of you on the new project. Everybody, Cannabis
Out of
Helps
chaos comes creation, right?
I know. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so happy for you guys. I can't wait to check out the new podcast. It sounds incredibly interesting. And thanks for giving us a preview here. So again, everybody, that's CannabisHelpsDementia.com. David Chela, when this is all over, let's have another vegan enchilada night.
Oh yeah, for sure. We so missed that, it was great times, and congratulations for everything that's going on in your life and your success. Your show is looking better and better, sounding better and better. It's just getting everything. Listen, you make your own reality, and you have to do that. You have to be happy and find joy, even in these times. Right?
No kidding. No
And
kidding.
cannabis helps. Cannabis
Yes.
saves the world.
Yes, it does. That's the truth. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys, and I look forward to when we can see each other in person again. I miss you all.
Totally. All right,
All right.
thanks, Juan.
Oh,
Cheers.
Jilly Love, yes, we'll do shows, just not regular.
Oh, hey, Jilly Love.
We'll be back.
I got some of our viewers in there. Yeah, I know. They're like, what the hell happened to Reaper Revolution?
Bring it back.
Yeah, appreciate it. We love you
All
guys.
right. All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace. Bye. That's great. That's great. Obviously those are friends of mine as well, and that's so cool. They got a new project. CannabisHelpsDementia.com. That's awesome. I can't wait to check it out. And great to catch up with Dave and Shella.
What's going on? Let's get your news on today. We're getting your news on with Ron. Let's get to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Yay, yay.
You can tweet me an article at
Ron Picone.
We'll go through it together and
Make it our own.
get your news on with Ron. Just wanna know what's going on. Getting our news on today. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Ronnie. And look, all Joe Rogan shit pops up. Except for one Jimmy Dore. And one looks like an MSNBC in the center, maybe. Looks like Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan. 3 videos. You're getting your news on today. Yay, 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 yay. Yay. Wanna know what's going on? Getting our news on with Nay, yay, 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 yeah. We're getting our news on with trendies, and they know what's going on. We're getting so really high today, yay, yay, yay. All right, let's go back. Look at my belly. No wind in the greenhouse. No, I need fans, son. Hey, Nate, everyone, James, Smokehouse Almonds. Those fans are expensive. It sounds like they want the money. Did she even say anything? There she goes. Hey, Nate. Susie, hey. We come out of lockdown. I think we have control over 19 now. I've not left my house. Yeah, the Jackal, no. We don't have control over COVID-19. It's really bad. It's just as bad now as it's ever been in the United States. Wait, Jackal, where do you live? Where do you live at? I'm sorry, I just assumed you lived in the United States. It might be different where you are. Shipment. Oh, you're in New Zealand, man. Cool, man. Right on, Jackal. Congratulations, man, to y'all. We're not. We're not doing anywhere near as good as you. Oh, goodness. Hey, man, I need to blow some smoke rings. What? Look at the sunbeam. It's perfect. Perfection. Let's blow some smoke rings. We'll have some fun. Okay, come on. Let's blow some smoke rings. What do you guys say? We're gonna blow some smoke rings. This is what I'm gonna say to you right now. Always gonna blow some smoke rings. So, yeah, I guess they're not they're not like video, they're like a podcast that you listen to. So you know, personally, I think they should do video, but that guy's fucking psychotic with the goddamn microphone. I mean, seriously, that guy had a control problem with the microphone. He should have the microphone in front of both of them, and they sat there looking at the camera, and they would both been talking to Ron Placone at the camera, right? Basically, I've got 2 microphones. They're faced towards me. I don't touch them. You know, he had it set at the beginning. It was fine. You know, it was... When she started talking, he started moving the microphone away from her. I was like, what is he doing? It's really weird. He's acting weird with the mic. It's kind of weird. Really weird. Weird thing there. All right. No organic cannabis. Cannabis isn't for all. Let's blow some fucking badass smoke rings. Here you go. Cheers, guys. Can you get sick from some kind of stuff that looks like mold? Probably not, Greg. If you burn them, you're burning the mold. But it's never good to inhale mold. If you could scrape that shit off, you know, get the moldy parts off. You can even wash the mold off with water, and then dry the buds. Try that. Okay? Use water. Wash the mold off. See if that works. Use paper towels to dry them. You can dry them with a hair dryer on low, too, you know? High fan, low temperature. You're welcome, Greg. You gonna do another Zoom, Edward? Yeah, Edward, I would like to. I just don't know what was up with the sound, dude. My fucking sound. It was so... What's the word I'm looking for? What's my words? I can't find my words. Frustrating. That's the word. Laurie. Ed. Hey, you guys are saying hey to each other. That's nice. You know, I wouldn't mind doing a Zoom. It's just a matter of not letting the Russians in. Russians. Russians. That has never happened before. Nay. Huh? I don't know. Let's do something fun. What do we want to do here? What's fun? What's fun for y'all? We do fun stuff on this show, don't we? We talked about everything, right? We talked about... Oh, we didn't talk about flooding. Oh, that's so important. So those of you who stayed and want to hear about flooding, I was about to start this show. And I looked at my camera and I noticed there was water in the tray table, and that's not good. So I went downstairs and there was water not only on the floor, but out into the hallway and into the billiards room. And into the bathroom. And I said, oh my God, I need to call fucking ServPro. Like it never even happened. And then 2 hours later, I was doing a live stream. Man, I don't think my cameras are set. That one camera... I don't know if it was recording or not. Record. I don't know if it... No, I don't think it was recording. I did put a mask over it. It may have recorded me when I was down there and having to clean it all over 2 hours. Vacuuming and vacuuming and vacuuming and vacuuming and then vacuuming and vacuuming. And bailing and bailing and bailing and bailing and vacuuming. It was how many gallons of water did I flood? It was close to 30, maybe 40 gallons of water that I flooded onto my floor. I had to clean it up with a wet dry vac, which I keep right there. I've never had a flood like that before, though. What happened was I replaced a timer. Remember I said I was going to go downstairs and fix my fucking... So I swapped... It's so funny. I swapped out the timer and I set it to what I thought was to go off for 3 seconds every hour. And what I guess I set it for was to go off for 3 seconds every hour, and it went off for 3 seconds every hour. And then it didn't shut off. The timer did. But my hoses that I had pulled from the tomato plant and didn't go back there and tie up and finish, they were leaking water into the tray. And when the pump shut off, the whole system was full of water. And because those hoses are wide open and there's no resistance, they pour water out and it creates a siphon. There's a 30-gallon tank with another hose that comes from outside on the spigot. It's always on. It's always filling that thing on a float valve. So as that thing drains, it fills. So it never stops. So if I had not gone down there, if I was sat here and was doing this live stream, my whole billiards room, my whole downstairs would have been fucking destroyed. But luckily, it just got into the billiards room a little bit. Totally, repairable. It's no big deal. I don't like my floors anywhere. I want waterproof fucking floors. I don't like this cheap fucking flooring I have. I was thinking about having Iron Lungs McGee come out and do it for me. But anyway, because of the setup that Donna made, she caught all the fucking water in her plastic. I just had to vacuum it up, and it took a long time. Now, what made outside the room, it did soak into the woodwork a little bit down at the floorboards and such. I got right down there with the vacuum, and I sucked all that water to the point where there was no more moisture leaking out onto the tile. It's a tile floor. So I just made sure to really... I'll go back down there and check again. I'll go down with with a towel and wipe down all the tile and make it really nice, and just make sure everything's cool. But I've got a little bit more work to do down there. I want it to be nice again. And I had to move all the plants, and I've reset the timer, and it's going to go off every hour for 3 seconds. Hopefully it won't keep flowing. So I've got the camera right here on the tray table to the point to where I can see it. I can see the floor here. So I can see you see those little grooves in the tray table? The grooves, you can see when they're full of water, it looks they look glassy. It looks totally different than that. So right now, I'm not flooded. I can see that the individual trays from each plant have no water in them. And that's a really good sign. So right now, I don't look like I'm flooding at all. The plants have all been moved. I'm using light number 2. The tomato plant's been moved out. Light number 1. I've got a lot more cleaning to do in there. But I flooded that. So now let's talk about flooding, because there's one thing I know that I can tell you about flooding. It sucks. Yeah, it's concrete floor. It's a concrete floor, but above the concrete floor is a little what do they call that shit? You know, it's not hardwood, but it looks like hardwood. It's fake hardwood. Laminate, two laminate floors. Matthew, hey man, are you sitting down, buddy? I hope you're sitting down. Are you? Let me know. Hey, it's top of the hour. Let's smoke some Pineapple Express. What do you guys say? Okay, good. Donna died just a little over a week ago, brother. I'm sorry to tell you. You know, we lost her. The world lost her. Her family lost her. You know, everyone who ever knew her. But we have her memories, you know. All right, no law regarding cannabis. Cannabis isn't just for all. Cheers, everybody. Pineapple Express for Donna, top of the hour. So, I'm going to go back down there. I'm going to make sure that it's, you know, cool. And this time I'm going to tie my freaking hair back because I had my hair down and there are leaves dropping in my hair. It's driving me fucking crazy. All right. Okay, guys. I am going down to go take care of that business. Hope you enjoy your evenings. It is 7:10 in just a few minutes. I'll stay with you until 7:10. How about that? Bye, Lori. Yeah, me too, Kat. Me too. Bye, Laurie. Yeah, she was so sweet. She really was, Kat. She was. People who interacted with her knew that. She was amazing. She was amazing. Cheers, Randy. All right. All right. All right. I like watching the plants grow. I like going down there and working. I tell you, I don't like having to fucking suck up water off the ground. So to avoid that, you guys should, if you're doing indoor grows, lay down plastic on the entire floor. This was a double layer of plastic. It did go down into the second layer. It's probably down on the floor. It's probably ruined the floor, but I'm prepared to rip that floor out, put a brand new floor in. I don't give a fuck about that because I can afford shit like that. But for other people, that might be devastating. So that's something to consider. You know, when you're running timers, you want to make sure your timers are set correctly, and you want to make sure that you don't create a siphon on your line. And the way you do that is by you run your line up high. So when the water turns off in the pump, some of it goes down this way and some of it goes back down towards the pump and it drains out and doesn't have the ability to get sucked back from down below. So the trick is to run that pipe up high and have a stopper down at the end of your line from your pump, which is coming from my olive barrel, which is a 55-gallon olive barrel. Thanks, Matthew. Oh, Greg, you're welcome. Hell yeah. Sitting here with Rogan. Rogan's chilling. Rogan's chilling. Yeah, Edward, if you're going to message me, definitely message me on Twitter. That's the spot to do it. Better yet, tweet me. Tweet me on Twitter. Tweet at Trendy Ass Towers. Lost contact with the camera there for a second. Someone must be breaking in. They're doing a heist. They're running fake footage. Real juicy, Junior. Real juicy. I wonder what happened to Iceman. Yo, Iceman. Today's Sunday, huh? I wonder where Iceman is. I'm using 2 boxes of trendy paint oil to keep up my fucking fans for my router. Look. So funny. See that box right there? And that box right there? Those are full boxes of trendy paint oil. Holding up my fan for my router right there. Happy 7/10, everybody. Cheers. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabisism, tisms for all. Enjoy your evenings, everybody. I'm going to get downstairs and finish that work. All right. Bye, y'all. The top of my greenhouse is PVC pipe. I believe it's one, maybe 1.5 inch PVC pipe. Maybe 1.5 inch PVC pipe. Bye, guys.